Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is going to be the first of 3 poses that we'll be doing each Monday this month to prepare us for a full flow at the end of the month. Today we're going to be working on Chaturanga. So I know so many of us see this in almost every yoga class we take, so it kind of seems like it should be an easy pose or a basic pose, but the reality is it's kind of not. It's kind of challenging and it can be really difficult to actually get the correct form in because your body can feel really awkward when you're doing it, and sometimes you're doing it wrong but you don't even know. So we'll just go over a few key points in this one to make sure that you're doing it correctly and safely. So just so that we can flow smoothly into it, we're going to start in a downward facing dog, and I'll do it correctly the first time, and then I'll go over some modifications and variations so that you can feel good when you do it on your own. So meeting in downward facing dog, tuck the toes, sit back, and as you shift forward, just go ahead and come forward so that the wrists line up under the shoulders, the fingers are spread wide, and you're tucking the tailbone down. So typically, to keep this form, we would shift the weight forward, lower down halfway, and usually you would flow through from there. So when I say halfway, I mean like a 90-degree angle. And typically what will happen is, because the shoulders aren't strong enough, then the biceps and the chest compensate and round the back. What will happen is that the shoulders dip below the elbows, so it'll look something like this. Instead, when you shift, you dip forward. And the reason why you don't want to do that is because the shoulders dipping below the elbows is going to start to put a lot of pressure on the muscles in the shoulder and the rotator cuff, and you can get little tears over time that start to feel uncomfortable, and it hurts and it gives you pain there. So if you cannot keep a 90-degree angle coming down in the traditional version of that pose, you can always drop to the knees. So it would look like this. You would shift forward, drop to the knees, and then lower. And another thing is that you don't even have to lower to 90 degrees. If that's just too much on its own, you can just put a little bend and then take your flow or whatever options you're moving into after that. So do it one more time, all together, downward facing. You would shift forward, press down to your Chaturanga, hugging the elbows in, and then of course flow through to whatever rest of the poses that you had lined up for you. So hopefully that helped explain this pose a little bit for you, and I definitely hope it was helpful. So I will see you right back here next week for our next pose, which will be Malasana or a Hindi squat, garland pose, depending on where you practice. You'll hear it by different names. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you back here real soon. Have a good rest of your day. Namaste.